Frankly, my body is tired and really doesn't want to be doing this right now. Welcome back to Evie's Acres. I'm Evie, and today I'm going to walk you through how I set up these raised beds. I showed you in a previous video how I built them, but now I'm showing you how I'm setting them up to plant my transplants in them. My neighbors across the street are mowing their lawn, so I apologize if you can't really hear me. I might have to do a voiceover if it's too loud when I hear this back later. But anyway, it's really bright and really hot this afternoon. It's about 5 o'clock, almost 5:30, and it feels like the noonday sun right now. It's so hot, but this is the only time I had to get this done right now. Well, really, pretty much for this week. I really want to try to get as much accomplished as I possibly can, since I will be going away tomorrow to pick up my son from summer camp. So, well, he's done with summer camp now, but I'm picking him up from Florida where he went to summer camp. So anyway, I'll show you that now. Okay, change of plans. I misplaced my utility knife that I've been using to cut apart this landscape fabric. And I don't really have time to look for it right now. I'd rather just get some of these plants into a container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my third GreenStalk. And with this one, I'm going to fit as many of the remaining herbs and peppers that I have in there. And then once that's done, I will feel like I've accomplished something today. If after that I still have enough daylight, I will go and find my utility knife and I will set up this other raised bed. I may not fully set up. I may just get it to the point where it's level and I start putting soil in it. I don't know if I'm going to actually get around to planting anything in it today. There have just been so many setbacks over and over today. I'm just going to focus on getting this GreenStalk filled up today and go from there. Okay, so my first objective in setting this up was just to make sure that this is pretty much level all the way around. There's some places where it's slightly not centered, but I think it's, oh wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, no, it's pretty good. I think this is good enough to get us started. So I'll start by putting this first piece on the platform. Yeah, I don't know if I ever actually showed you guys in the very beginning how I did this, but yeah, put that on the platform. And you can see it's rolling freely, so that's good. I have a little under half of a bag of this soil left that I'm gonna just scoop in here. And yeah, so I'm just gonna start filling it up. And I'll record this so you can see it, but you know, not much really to show you other than just me filling it up. Oh, I guess one other thing to add, because my son is not here, and I don't trust myself to stack these entirely solo, especially the top one. Once it's filled up, it does get pretty heavy. I'm going to separate these all out, fill them up with soil, and put the plants in them. It's hard to do one-handed. But yes, I'm going to put the plants in them, and I'm just going to let them stay out here tonight and tomorrow until we get back tomorrow evening, and then at that point he can help me stack it all up. So, and I did have a raised bed in this area before, but I just decided to stack it up over there to make space for me to work on this. One out, in. One thing I don't think I showed you before in the process, I mentioned it, but I didn't really show you how I did it. These silver plates here, I'm gonna line it up with each of these sections. And I mean, technically I could put a little bit more soil in there. think that will put a little bit more in the center, or around the center, I should say, but not much. Yeah, that's enough. All right, excellent. So, yep, and these line up. Each of these line up with one of these wells. So, good stuff. All right, on to the next one. Much better. Alright. I'm using a scoop to put the soil in because it's just easier on my back to not have to lift this whole bag. It's not that I can't lift the whole bag, but I'm very aware of the fact that, frankly, my body is tired and really doesn't want to be doing this right now, to be honest. Like, I psychologically, mentally, I really want to be here. I really want to do this. Physically, I'd really like to have a nice, cool, summery drink, like a, I don't even know what. I don't drink alcohol, but like something, not water. I don't really like plain water. I do like iced coffee, which I think some people think is crazy. Why is coffee iced? It's not meant to be, but I do like iced coffee. So actually that would be a really nice thing for me to have right now, but I don't drink. I try not to drink coffee in the afternoon at all. Even the weakest of coffees can affect my sleep, so I don't like to do that. So if I have iced coffee, unfortunately, like if I have it during the day, it really is pretty much at noon, like the latest. If I have it with lunch or something, it's the latest I'll do it, because unless I'm, for example, on a road trip, I would say that's probably the only exception. If I'm on a road trip where I'm going to be driving at night and I know I need to stay alert, that's pretty much the only time I allow myself to have coffee in the afternoon, because it will help me stay alert. It doesn't give me a any kind of weird buzz or anything like that. It keeps me awake, and it makes me very aware of my surroundings. So, which is a good thing to have when you're driving, especially at night. And I prefer not to drive at night, but you know, it happens from time to time. So, anyway. So there are 30 total plants that you can put into this. Well, in terms of the types of plants I'm using, I'm just going to put one per pod. So I've already planted 6, which means I have 24 left. Of these plants that I'm looking at right now, I still have at least 3, 6, 9, 12. I have 12 that are sweet or mild peppers. And then I have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 that are spicy. So here's where I'm at a little bit of a conundrum with this. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do, because I just want to kind of get this done now, I think I'm going to put some mild ones towards the top and plant them with herbs. I have a mint. See, I have a peppermint, teeny tiny rosemary, which I hope she survives. And then I have this German chamomile, which I honestly can't tell if this is one plant or more than one plant. I'll know when I take it out. I think it's just one. But I want to put these 3 in the top with 3 of the mild peppers or sweet peppers. So even though I'm kind of doing this out of order, this is definitely the bottom, but I think I'm going to make this one the top because I want to make sure I plant these before I forget my thought process. Okay, let's go and put this peppermint in here. Oh, there are 2 peppermints in here. Oh, that's so great. All right, let's get this out of here. Okay, so for those of you out there who are watching who are new to gardening, I want to advise you, if you ever decide to grow any kind of mint plant, peppermint, spearmint, agastache mint, there are all sorts of mints, and also plants that are in the mint family. If you ever decide to grow those at your home, regardless of what kind of environment you're in, if you're in an apartment, a townhouse, a house, on a homestead, on 20 acres, please, please, please plant that mint in some sort of container. Unless you really don't care about it spreading all over your property and your neighbor's property. Because mint is a very invasive plant. It will spread like wildfire. In a span of a year, it can take over a really large space. This little plant, if I set this out on my grass, I would not be surprised if it took up at least 500 square feet of space within a year. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you want to plant any kind of mint. I have to be realistic with myself and give myself grace, because I feel very blessed to have the opportunity to grow any of this. So hopefully with time, my schedule will afford more flexibility for me to take care of these guys a little more vigilantly in the future. So another option that you may be able to pursue in your area, if you live on some land, and I don't mean like a significant acreage per se, but for example, when we lived on a little over a 1/4 acre in Florida, at one point I ordered soil and wood shavings, or wood chips. I ordered wood chips and soil from a local company that does, landscaping and things like that. And the cost to have all of that delivered to my home at that time was not bad at all. I mean, compared to buying bags of soil is definitely the better way to go, even with the cost of delivery. However, I found that in this area, for some reason, and maybe I just haven't discovered the place yet, but the places I have contacted online or researched online, the prices are astronomical and really not much different from me ordering the soil from Amazon to deliver directly to my house in these bags, which I find disappointing. But again, I can't say that I've contacted every single place in the area, so maybe there is a spot close by that would be able to deliver some good quality soil to me in bulk. But one thing I also am cautious of is something that I ran into when we received that order in Florida, which is, again, the element of time. Because when you get this huge pile of dirt, not dirt, it's soil. When you have this huge pile of soil on your lawn, you may in your mind think, okay, well, I scheduled it for delivery on a day when I knew I was going to be able to, do stuff with it, which may very well be true. But it's a lot of soil, it's a lot of hauling, it's a lot of moving stuff around, and most likely anything like me, I ordered a lot of soil and I ended up using all of it throughout my garden. But having the time and energy to put it all where it needed to go when the weather was cooperating, and when I, you know, even if I didn't feel like it, oftentimes like right now, I mean, I'm out here and I do feel better as I work. Like, it's not like, oh my goodness, I just don't want to be here. It's more like, my body could really use some rest right now. But I also know this needs to get done. So, I don't know. In a way, I do find this therapeutic too. So, anyway, I'm digressing. My point is, just be cautious of the fact that even though you may be able to get bulk soil from somewhere for a much better price than ordering it on Amazon, which I hope to be able to do that soon, the reality is you just have to also factor in those elements of time and energy, and really planning too. I mean, oh my goodness, I had notebooks. Actually, I don't still have them, because they got ruined in the flood last year due to the hurricane. But anyway, but I used to have a notebook just full of just drawn out plans for each of my raised beds. I used to have I call it kind of like a pallet garden. I had multiple pallets set up with lots of flowering plants, and I had them around my banana trees. And then I had additional plants around my chickens' coop and run that I was planning to set out. It was a lot of stuff, but I used all the soil that I received, which was a lot. And same with the mulch. But it took me time to get through it all. Not because I didn't have a place to put it, but because I needed my energy level and the weather to cooperate. Like, it all needed to sync up enough for me to get it done. This mix of, it's called a hot salsa blend peppers. I think I'm just going to put them all in one row because I don't know what they are. It's a combination of just probably a lot of the plants I already have. Jalapeno, poblano, I don't even know. I don't remember what was on the package, but yeah, I'm just going to put those all in one row of this GreenStalk. The only ones left are the one I'm sitting on and this one right here. I know I want to go ahead and put this little spicy guy in here towards the top. It's a red spicy pepper that I got when I went to the Homesteaders of America conference last October. I believe I got these for free from Doug and Stacy from the YouTube channel Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They're little red peppers that are kind of spicy. And yeah, I want to try those out. My son's a big fan of spicy peppers, so I thought that would be a good one to try for him. I think I'll do some more of the salsa blend. Oh wait, one of these already has 3. Well then, this one already has flowers. I guess I'll go with this one. I'm gonna start filling this one up. So this will be another spicy one. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, this is a 3-quart scoop that I purchased. I believe I purchased this from Tractor Supply. You can find them online as well. They probably smell it. They probably sell it at Walmart as well, but yeah, the ones I have, I purchased them all from Tractor Supply. And actually, I have another one and it's green. I used to have both of them. I used to use both of them to scoop the feed for my chickens. One was for the baby chicks food or the grower food, starter food. The other was for the adult chickens. But now I just use the same scoop for both. It really doesn't matter. A little more background on just why it's taking so long to get these things done. Last week, like every day I look at the forecast, but particularly on Saturday nights and on Sunday mornings, I look at the weather forecast for the week because that helps me to plan as far as what I will do in the garden, what I will actually even record for the week, and all of that. It helps me with planning. Well, last week, this time, again, today's Sunday, July 30th, the forecast said that there would be basically just sunshine, great weather all week. It was going to get pretty hot, like in the low 90s as a high, but at least it was going to be sunny pretty much all week. And I don't remember what day it was, if it was like Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, but it got to the point where it was so bad the electricity went out, and then the very next day, even without there being a major storm going on, the electricity went out again. But I mean, we had so much rain, which is great for the plants that were already established or getting established, but for these guys that were still in their little pots, oh my goodness, I just felt so bad. Like, yes, great that they're getting rain and plenty of sun, but it really put a damper in my plans as far as getting everything transplanted last week. Like, that was really my goal with last week, get everything that was still in pots out of pots and into these raised beds or into grow bags or into these GreenStalks. It was a struggle. So that's a big part of what's holding all this up. And then work has been pretty crazy, just so much going on, so busy. It's just been so busy. So this week, work-wise, I don't anticipate that getting any lighter anytime soon. And then with me essentially kind of losing a day tomorrow by traveling, you know, even like normally Sunday is usually when my son and I would mow the grass and everything. We had too much rain last night where I couldn't really do anything in the morning. So then I thought, okay, well, I'll wait till midday when everything's dried up. Well, then we had a midday shower, which kind of soaked everything all over again. And so, and here we are now. I don't know what the time is. I'm guessing it's probably about 6. It's about 6 something right now. I know I've been out here for at least half an hour. So the ground is still damp. You know, I was planning to go around and kind of do my son's job, which is to rake up all the dried up grass from last week, which typically I would have him do during the week, so we wouldn't have to do it on Sunday. But again, well, he wasn't here. But even if he, you know, if I had the time to do it, because I didn't with my work schedule, even if I had the time to do it, I couldn't because we got these downpours. So it's like, all right, just do what you can with what you got, make the most of it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep learning along the way. That's all I really care about. Just making sure I'm still learning as I do this, and I'm not, staying stagnant regardless of the circumstances. I can still do something, you know? So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing something. Even if it is just putting together one GreenStalk this weekend, at least I'm getting 30 plants out of their pots. And so that is a win. You know, think about it from that perspective. Because actually, if I really was successful at just 1 or even 2 of those raised beds prepared so that I could put plants in them, that's still only about 24 plants compared to the 30 I've been able to transplant with this one GreenStalk. So, you know what? I'm going to call that a win. Definitely a win. I will show you after I'm done with this what I'm going to do, though, to my tomato plants in hopes of keeping them going a little bit longer until I can really deal with them again. Oh, I forgot to put labels on these. These are... Oh, wait, no, I do have one. Hot salsa. What's this one? Oh, no, this whole thing is a hot salsa blend. That's right. Okay. What are these, though? Oh, dear. Well, we're going to have some surprises because I didn't realize I forgot to put the labels on there. It's okay. Now that I planted all these guys in, you might be thinking, oh, well, surely you're going to go get labels and label those ones that you didn't label before, right? No, I'm not going to do that. One thing I actually don't mind is being a little surprised in the garden. When things actually bloom, it's fine. Even for the spicy stuff, if I think I've planted something that was mild and it turns out to be spicy, it's okay. I'm gonna cut it up before I eat it. I'm not gonna like just pop the whole thing in my mouth, and I don't like that kind of surprise. But no, I'm totally fine with leaving it as is. Now this soil, the soil itself is a little bit damp, again because of all the rain we've gotten. Even though it was in these bags, those bags are a little porous, so they got moisture in them. Even so, I'm gonna still bring some water over here. I'm gonna water all these guys in to make sure that they're solid, that they're good. And so yeah, so that'll be good. And then I'll show you what I'll do with these tomato plants. Okay, so I can't see the screen at all because the sun is directly in my face and you can probably see all the sweat, but that's okay. I'm all right with it. What I'm gonna do now with these tomato plants is I'm going to use my little shears here. I'm gonna snip off these lower branches because, in case you didn't know, tomatoes naturally grow horizontally on the ground. Most people automatically think they just grow straight up because that's how you see them in the store. But normally in the wild, if you see a tomato plant, it's growing along the ground because its objective is to optimize the amount of seed it can produce so that it can reproduce. And the best way to do that is by growing along the ground where, let's see if I can come up close and show you. Oh, there's too much shadow. Let me get out of the sun here. Let's see if this will work. There are little hairs. You can probably see them along the stem. Those little hairs, when they touch soil and moisture, they'll start to create new roots. And so when I plant these tomato plants into these raised beds, you'll see me use a technique that may or may not be familiar to you, but I'm not going to just put them directly into the ground. You will be able to find many people advising you to plant as high up as possible, like up to here if possible, with this plant so that you can optimize the root system below. And that is what I'm going to do, but not the way you probably think. These beds are only about 10 inches high, and the soil that I put in them is only about 8 inches deep. So what I'm actually going to do, and I'll demonstrate this when the time comes, I'm going to actually plant them kind of horizontally, but so that this portion, it curves up, and you'll see it pop up exactly where it's supposed to be. I didn't do that with these plants, partly because I forgot all about that technique. I've used it before and it worked great. But yeah, it was mainly because I forgot that I could do that. So that's the plan for the next round of tomato plants. These basil, oh my goodness, it smells so good. This is a Tulsi basil. But as you can see, it's dying off because it's waterlogged and it's just crowded. It needs its space. So anyway, I'm just going to continue doing this with the rest of the tomato plants I have here. Removing these lower leaves. Now these tomato plants I'm dealing with right now, these are all Roma plants. So I thought I have for these is, I might do a little experiment with these guys. I may actually put these in yet another GreenStalk. I don't think I told you. I don't recall if I told you. I did. I mentioned it in a video that I have a couple more GreenStalks in my greenhouse that I haven't set up yet. I think I'm going to put these Roma tomatoes in one of those GreenStalks. And I think with the other GreenStalk, I'm going to focus on just the rest of the herbs that I have that need to be transplanted as soon as possible, but may not make it into one of these raised beds before I start planning for the fall garden. Now that's an interesting topic because clearly I was a little late getting this one started, this summer garden. But one of the great things about gardening is that, you know, you have multiple seasons. So things that I may have messed up on during this season, I can hopefully make up for in this fall planting season. Now these look really, maybe a little wimpy to some people because they just don't have all their leaves, but I promise you this is really for their benefit. They're gonna really flourish a lot once they get transplanted. I'm excited for them, actually. This is really exciting because now the leaves that remain, they're going to focus on feeding these guys, these little Roma plants, little Roma tomatoes that they have growing already. They're going to focus their energy on feeding them as opposed to the leaves that were growing and not producing any fruit. Okay, that one good to go. All right, I think I have another one over here. I need to actually two more. They all have a lot of water in them from last night. Oh, it's not fun to deal with, but it is what it is. So I'll make the most of it. All right, this is a Berries Crazy Cherry tomato, and this is of the ones that I've grown before. This is probably my favorite. It's the one that is the most consistent in terms of producing a large yield of very, very tasty yellow tomatoes that, quite frankly, they're just delicious. They're the perfect amount of sweetness. They're not too sweet. I've never had a sour one. And in my experience, and this is coming from someone who lived in Southwest Florida where, you know, it rains religiously like at 2 o'clock every day, sometimes twice a day. There's always so much rain. They would burst sometimes, but not nearly as badly as some of the other tomato plants that I grew down there. So I just really like them a lot. And I got my seed packet from, where did I get you from? I got it from Baker Creek. This Paul Robeson plant, I've never seen one with a stem that looked like this. Like it's almost like flattened. It's so strange to me. I've never seen that before. It's so different. So different. All right. And these are white cherry tomatoes. White cherry tomatoes are actually pretty good too. I like the flavor of them a lot. They were also a favorite of the chickens that I had in Florida. Oh my goodness, those girls loved some cherry tomatoes. Okay, I'll just leave those for now. Fine. All right, let me get the last round. This one has the most Okay, so I'm just starting from the bottom and working my way up. In this case, a lot of these pretty much they're no longer further in those areas. Ooh, this one actually has a cobweb. Yikes. You know it's been too long. Cobweb growing there. Goodness sakes. Although that's not totally true because spiders will find any kind of plant, living or not living. Wherever they find conducive to build their cobwebs, they'll build them. Okay. So now, one thing you have not witnessed yet from me, but you will in the future. Possibly not with these plants because they're growing so late in the season. I really don't expect a huge bumper crop of anything this year. But next year, when I get these going earlier in the season, you will see me pruning my tomato plants on the regular. And I do believe that when I had good tomato yield in the past, it was in part because I did this. I have not experienced any major aphid issues with aphids or any really major tomato pests in the past. I think a lot of it just comes from my vigilance with just being vigilant about ensuring that they have adequate airflow, lots of sun, plenty of water, and also I was very consistent with feeding them fertilizer, usually every Sunday in the mornings when they were still dew on the ground. So I think that has a lot to do with what worked well when things worked well. And then there were just other things that I think in terms of like overcrowding, or maybe I tend to be the type of person that when I plant a square foot garden, even though I've measured it out, I've written out where everything's gonna go, I'll still stick like random herbs and flowers in places. They probably would be good like companion plants, but there's no room, so I should put them there. And I do it, so it's just, yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. We have just over 100 subscribers and greatly appreciate you for sharing our videos to reach more people. Remember to click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and thanks again for all of your support. Until next time.